Hey, I want to talk to you about this report. So apparently there's a company called Wallet Hub, which looked at cities around the country to find out which are the best run cities. And they looked at 38 different kind of metrics. They call it quality of services metrics. Things like lowest unemployment rate or highest high school graduation rate, or they look at the crime rate and so on. Well, it turns out that the best run city in America, I've never even heard of it. It's called Nampa.
Nampa, Idaho.
Not Tampa, but Nampa.
Nampa, Idaho.
Nampa, Idaho. And
Wow.
now Boise is also in that list.
Okay,
Fort Wayne, Indiana, Nashua, New Hampshire, Lexington, Fayette, Kentucky. And I think what's interesting is that by and large, these are right-leaning cities. Not entirely, but of course, New Hampshire, for example, is these days a Democratic state, but much of New Hampshire is very conservative. Fort Wayne, Indiana is conservative. So it doesn't, you've talked about how when you see a well-run state, everything is in order. There's no dirt on the streets. You don't see homeless guys.
We talk about this kind of a lot because we visit a lot of cities, and we're always just amazed at how dirty some cities are versus others. And then we're like, oh yeah, the city council is all Democrat or the city council is Republican. So it is actually city politics that determine what the city looks like. So it's quite interesting.
I mean, and to drive that point home, you can look at the other end of it. Here are some of the worst cities. Cleveland.
Oh, we've been there.
Bad.
Oh, yeah.
New York City. Bad.
Bad.
San Francisco, no surprise.
Oh.
Washington, D.C., no surprise. So those are 4 of the 5 worst run cities in America. And look.
And that's what they want all of the United States to look like.
That's their model.
That's their model.
That's their model.
Oh, and Caracas, of course, is the biggest model of them all. Because,
if you look on the international scale.
Yes, because there's photos that I have of me as a child, and it's just so beautiful in the background, nice everything versus now.
Now, interestingly, what I think is that you've not only is there this political dividing line, but even cities that used to be, cities have been Democrat for a while, but we've seen a deterioration in the cities. It's almost like the Democrats have gotten even worse at what they do.
Yeah, but it makes you wonder why that is. It's, I grew up in the Rio Grande Valley, as you know, and when you go down there, you feel like you're going back in time. I literally turn on my 80s songs and I go back there and I feel like I'm back in high school because it not only is it nostalgic for me, but also just everything looks the same as it did when I was in high school. Actually,
right.
Worse because we had a new mall when I was a senior in high school and it closed down.
Yeah, and so, by and large, apart from does the Rio Grande Valley does Harlingen have an Applebee's?
It does.
Okay, so Applebee's is like your top level restaurant.
Yeah, I think McAllen is more hip. McAllen is about 40 minutes. I think it's west of Harlingen, I want to say.
Yeah, there's more there.
No, east of Harlingen. No, west of Harlingen. I'm going down this way. But anyway, and so it's a little more hip. But, it's still not, you go down there and you're like, yeah, we know who runs these cities.
And then you look at even things like, there are beautiful homes, for example, in downtown Houston. There's, what's the name of that chic area?
River Oaks.
River Oaks. Mm-hmm. But all you have to do, you come out of River Oaks and you walk 3 blocks.
Yeah, but that's a zoning issue,
Well, whatever it is.
It's a city-run issue.
Right, that's what I'm saying, is that you cannot insulate yourself, no matter how well off you are. By and large, you're in the city and you can't change that. In fact, this was a point that my brother used to make, when he'd talk about India in general, because his friends would go, India's a great place to live if you have money. And my brother would go, actually, no, it's not a great place to live if you have money because it still has massive potholes in the roads. The airport still looks like a dump.
Panhandling.
And so you can't avoid the infrastructure of a broken country. Now, India is better now than when my brother said that, which is years ago. So India is on its way up. But so many of these cities are on their way down. We went to New Orleans. And I remember New Orleans as being a reasonably nice place.
Yeah, it was extremely dirty. And as you know, I'm kind of picky about stuff like that.
Well, nobody likes to walk in human excrement.
Yeah, I know. But I was just so grossed out. I was like, I just want to go home. They had so many nice things, but not worth it.
We were actually trying to find, was it the best bread pudding? Or what were we looking for?
Yeah, bread pudding.
We were looking for bread pudding in New
bread.
Orleans, but ultimately Debbie's like, forget about that bread pudding. Let's return to Texas.